So hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you guys like my new background and yeah, I'm trying out something different and I just hope I don't bore you guys with my old background and it was kind of boring to me when I used to sit and edit my videos. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you 4 basic eye makeup brushes that everyone should have, whether you're a beginner or you're in the advanced level. But if you're someone who's just starting out with makeup and you just want to start doing some basic eye makeup looks and you just want to add some tools to your kit, I would recommend these, and it's just about 4 brushes. So I would say that when it comes to brushes, you do invest your money in buying the perfect brushes because that would last you literally forever. So you do not have to change your brushes repetitively, and also gives you like amazing finishes. And there are a lot of amazing things when it comes to like good quality brushes. So it might look like it's slightly pricey, but this is like the best price for really good quality that you can actually get in India easily also. So I've literally put in a lot of thought process when it comes to choosing these brushes, and I chose the brushes in such a way that it would work on someone who even has like big eyes or hooded eyes or like really small eyes. So I wanted something, like for all of them and something which works for all. So let's get started with our video. The first brush that I'm going to be recommending you guys is the PAC 203 brush. This brush is one hell of an amazing brush. I'll tell you why. So the first amazing thing about this brush is that it can be used for liquid products as well as cream products and powder products. So this actually comes in very handy because it has a very versatile property because it's duo fiber. So speaking about the way the brush has been made, it's got a black ferrule and it kind of tapers toward the end, which makes it really good, like it gives you good control when you're holding your brush. And it's also quite long in the back, so you have a lot of space to work with. The more farther you go from your brush, the more you get this very hazy eyeshadow look because you have less control on the product and the blending basically. But if you want to do some very detailed work, you have to hold your brush very close to the bristles, basically in the ferrule. So this is the ferrule of the brush, and I think it's aluminium. I'm not too sure about the material. So I haven't had any issue with rusting or like with it opening and the strands coming off. I've been using this brush for more than like around 2 years, and I haven't had any type of shedding. And first thing, it is a synthetic brush. These are like extremely soft and they blend your eyeshadow really well. The way it's cut, the way it's made is kind of like in a dome shaped, like it's kind of like dome shape. It does not have any sharp edges to it, and it kind of goes into a dome shape. So when you actually place one side of the dome in your crease, the upper side of it automatically blends the product which you're packing. So this brush is great for blending out your crease eyeshadows, your transition eyeshadows, whether it's a cream or a powder product. So because of the size and also the density of the brush, it's great for even packing the color in your crease and then buffing it out to give you that hazy look. So this is a great brush in terms of the quality because it's very soft. It does not feel spiky or prickly on your eyes. The sizing of the brush is great, that it actually fits really well in your crease. As you can see in the demo, I'm using the same brush for my transition shade as well as my crease shade, and it works just really good. And also, if you can see, the upper part of the brush is actually helping me to blend my eyeshadow without me even knowing it's actually blending it. So it kind of like works in a very multi-purpose type of a way. So this is a great brush for beginners and also for those of you who are like like pros in eyeshadows. This is a great brush. I cannot do without this brush. Like I do all my eye looks, at least some part of the blending work, it goes to this brush. It's great and it washes the colors off easily, does not get stained. Yeah, this is a great one, so make sure you get this. So I'm just going to leave the length and the width of the brush over here, like only the bristles region, so you guys can actually understand compared to your brushes, if you have any, on like what is the size and like how does it vary from what you have. So speaking about the density of this brush, it isn't as diffused as those very big blender brushes, but it isn't a very defined crease brush also. It lies somewhere in the middle. So I'm just going to compare the brushes density in this one. As you can see, the one with the big black one, right? The big black one, it's very diffused. The one in the middle is what I'm recommending, and the one in the last is actually a crease brush, so it's very densely packed and this would not help you to blend at all, but it's great for color placement. So based on what I showed you, you can actually see that the brush is not very diffused and nor is it very tightly packed. It lies somewhere in the middle, so it works great for like like adding color to your crease, like packing the color in your crease and also blending it out. And also because it is slightly more bigger than the crease brush that I showed you, it is great for even transition shade, and this would be a best buy for girls who have much more smaller eyes or you have a hooded eye. This is great for fitting it in your crease and then to blend out your crease colors and your transition colors. The second brush that we're going to be talking about is the Bougie Beauty 215 small shader brush. So this brush is one of a kind. It's very rare to get these type of brushes. So this one comes in a rounded ferrule. It isn't the squash type one. So this is great for blending your eyeshadow. This would not be helpful for packing color on your lid or your crease or your lower lash line. But then this brush is great for like blending, and this is so small and so tiny that it fits really well in your lower lash line, even when you take it towards the inner corner. And some of you, like suppose if your eyes are like deep set, you might find it hard to get your brush to your inner corner to blend out your eyeshadows. So you wouldn't have any problem with this because this is like so tiny. You can see in comparison with my eyes, it's quite tiny. I leave the brush dimensions over here, so you like kind of understand what is the size of it. So this one is quite diffused. It isn't very tightly packed. It is a synthetic hair bristle. So washing it's a lot more easier, and it wouldn't shed a lot. Also, it blends your eyeshadow really well. It's extremely soft to touch, and also like as you can see, it's very bendy. Like each of the strands are very bendy because the brush is very diffused. So it wouldn't pick more color in case you want to blend your transition. Like let's say you want to blend out this outer region, or let's say you want to blend out your lower lash line, it wouldn't pick up more color, so you get like a very good hazy, a very blended type of an effect, and you wouldn't get these patches of eyeshadow here and there. This brush does not skip at all when you're blending it. Even in my crease, like I have a bit of a hooded eye, so it does not skip, it does not get stuck, it does not leave like some products here and there, it does not give you a patchy blend. And also, why am I mentioning this brush is because I don't see a lot of YouTubers talking about small brushes. It's always big, big, big brushes. And I feel that when you guys, when you buy a couple of brushes and you look at it and you're like, man, like I can't really use it on my eyes because your eyes are too small, like, and it doesn't help you do like detailed work. You use something like black or like dark brown and you feel the color is just, like it's just going out of control. It's kind of all over your face. So with respect to brushes which are much more smaller, you have more precision and you have more control. So these brushes do a great job for that. This is great to smoke out your lower lash line. It's great to get that hazy effect, like if you're doing a smoky eye. It's great for your crease. It's great for your, it's great to blend in this region in your inner corner. It's great to blend that last, like after you do your entire eyeshadow, if you just want to give it one blend in the outer perimeter, this is great for doing that. I would totally recommend this brush because it is a synthetic brush, so it's really helpful for beginners, and also does not shed, and it's very soft to skin. So you wouldn't find this brush irritating even for girls with sensitive eyes. The third brush is something which is very basic, necessary, and effective when it comes to your eyeshadows, which is a pencil brush. So this is a Pro Arte P29 brush, and I've been using this for like about a year, and I am so surprised. Like this one was so inexpensive, and it barely had any type, like I mean not barely, like it had no fallout, it had no shedding, none of those things. I've watched this like a million times, and I have not had any problem with this brush. So it's very stiff in nature compared to the other two brushes. If you can see, like no matter how much I'm pushing it, like I'm using a lot of force, it doesn't bend at all. So it's very stiff in nature. So the more stiff your brush is, it's really good for like taking the product and placing it in a certain region. And because it's so stiff and it's got like so much of density of like the bristles which are packed in this very small ferrule, it picks up a lot of your eyeshadow and gives that opaqueness when you're applying your color. We all have a really good matte black eyeshadow. When you swatch it, it looks great. But when you apply it on your lid, you feel like the color doesn't really show up. It doesn't pop. Like the black doesn't look like black. It kind of looks like grayish or just looks like a haze of black. It is because you don't use a proper packing brush. So this is good for packing the color in. You can see that in my demo. How I tend to use this brush is to like for like for deepening the outer V of my eyes, and also for my lower lash line, for taking the black and just to get that along my lash line, because this is a really small brush, so it wouldn't get the deeper shades much more lower into my cheek. So just keeps them all exactly where I want to define them. Also, because of the stiffness and the density of the brush, this is great for like smoking out your black eyeshadows if you apply it like like apply it like a liner. If you want to just smudge it out, this is great for doing that, and it gives you that very smoky liner type of an effect. A pencil brush is kind of like an absolute necessity, I would say, in anyone's eyeshadow. Like if you love eyeshadows, this is a great one for that. Just because it's just so versatile. Like if you have a clean pencil brush, you can even use it for your inner corner to add that like any type of shimmery highlight or something. Or you can even add it for your brow bone. You can add it for defining your crease. If you're doing something like a cut crease, and if you want to get that black shade, like a very defined black line, this is great for doing that. And comparing the Pro Arte and the Sigma one, you can see that they're more or less the same size. The Sigma one is although a little more pointed, but I don't like it because it's so pointed. It kind of hurts when you're blunt, like like when you're buffing out your lower lash line. So I don't like that for that reason. But the Pro Arte one is quite curved on the upper region, as you can see. But the density wise, both of them are like more or less similar. They don't have a lot of bounce, very stiff in nature. Okay, so I was talking about density, right? This is what I mentioned. Like if you see this, I'm pressing this and this moves so much because it's not very densely packed in, so there has a lot of place inside for it to move. Whereas you see this one barely moves, even though I'm using the same amount of force. This one barely moves. I hope this was helpful for you guys to understand why each brush is called a certain way and how they decide how a brush should be, and how you guys can choose when you have to go and buy brushes. The fourth and the final brush that you guys need is the Bougie Beauty B214 brush. So this is a very small shader brush. So speaking about the brush itself, it's very short, but it picks up product amazingly well. It's a synthetic brush, so you can also use it with your cream eyeshadows, like something like ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadows. This works great for those, and like it's a flat brush, so the ferrule has been pressed in. So and also one amazing thing about this brush is that it's kind of got a pointed end, if you can see in the close up, which not a lot of shader brushes get. Usually shader brushes are kind of like they're kind of flat with they're in this shape, like slight with a slight dome. But this brush is kind of like this, like it got this pointy end, and flat brushes are like, I mean, they're usually like this. Like I don't know if I can move my hand that way, but yeah, you get it. Like they use like this basically, like this. Yeah. So this one is great because of that. As you can see, I do own a lot of bigger brushes, but if you see a brush like this one, right? Like this one, this is from Sigma. This is the E60 brush. This is a huge brush. Like if you can see, this one kind of like covers my entire lid, and I will not have control when I want to go to this inner region, and nor when I'm kind of curving it out, I wouldn't have control here. So this is like a paintbrush. You can just use this to put one color all over your lid, take a bigger blending brush, buff it out. You're done. That's it. So if you want something like that, ping me. I'll give you a couple of suggestions if you want bigger like shader brushes. So this is one of those, like the bigger broader shader brushes. So just a comparison for you guys to understand why I'm recommending smaller brushes and more precision brushes is because this one can do what these brushes do, but these can never do what this one can do. So this guy can fit literally in your inner corner, it can fit in your lower lash line without it touching your nose. Like if I use this brush to apply like a color in this region here, and this side of the brush is going to touch this side of my nose. So I'm going to get like a black patch or a shimmer patch or any of those things. Again, I have to clean, again, I have to apply concealer. So to avoid all that things, I rather prefer a smaller brush. And this one fits really well in your brow bone. This one works really well in this to like, get the shimmers to mix into your blacks and your browns. This one works great. It's quite pointy in the end, which is great because it helps you to give that fake cut crease type of an effect. Great for your inner corner. It's great for packing color on your lid, which is the main purpose. So yeah, I mean, like this is very handy compared to these brushes. Okay, so here's like a side by side comparison of all the brushes. Okay, so if you guys can see, this is like the only one with a pressed ferrule. So on one side, it's a lot more thinner and sharp. The remaining all three have a rounded one. So the first two are great for blending, and the first one is good for packing on color. The pencil brush is great for packing on color in your crease and your blacks and your lower lash line and all that. This is great for adding your shimmers, packing color on your lid, your inner corner, your brow bone, and also to smoke out your lower lash line if you want to. It's kind of like a dual purpose brush. Okay, so these 4 brushes sums up my recommendations, and you're good to go with just these 4 brushes. So this completes the entire video, and I'm pretty sure it was very long, but I know it's very informative, and no one gives this information, and it's very confusing to a lot of beginners. So I wanted to give that out, and I hope you guys like found it useful and helpful. Just ping me if you have any doubts. You can always DM me on Instagram at nextdoordiva, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I'll catch up with you guys for another one. Until next time, bye.